Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode of 366 2020. Let's talk about 3 more movies. Summer of '84 is a nostalgic horror film, kind of in the vein of, I want to say Rear Window, Monster Squad, Adventures in Babysitting, kind of. It has a lot of threads that make up this movie. It stars a lot of character actors you probably don't know, but the plot is relatively simple. A group of kids, there's 4 boys, become convinced that their next door neighbor is a serial killer after a string of missing persons. The strength of this movie is completely based on the friendship between the 4 boys, and that friendship is very well rendered. It's in the vein of Stranger Things, also a nostalgic show, which draws the same comparisons to older films. So their relationship is great. Throughout its running time, you don't really know if the killer is the killer or not, so that mystery is always intriguing. It's shot in a very fun way. It's very nostalgic. This is very much an 80s movie made in the 2000s. A little bit of Goonies sprinkled in there. It's just a mix of everything you loved as a kid. But this is a movie targeted toward 30, 40-somethings that lived through that era for that taste of nostalgia that we all crave these days. But yeah, pretty solidly built little thriller built on the backs of giants, but highly entertaining. '78-52 Hitchcock Shower Scene is a documentary film about the infamous shower scene in the movie Psycho. I really like how this movie was orchestrated. It talks to a lot of current day filmmakers about how they view the shower scene and how they have built their careers off the shoulders of what Hitchcock did. And it also involves a lot of historians that put the film being Psycho, into historical context. So you know what was going on not only in America at the time, but in filmmaking at the time, and why this one scene in this one movie was so revolutionary. Then after Psycho is put into the proper historical context, you watch the scene with all of these people and they point out things that you might not notice. They pick apart the psychological level of the shooting techniques and how it's edited in a certain way and how the music works in a certain way. It's just a really interesting way of laying out the dissection of a single movie scene. And the movie is titled after the number of setups, a number of edits inside the shower scene. And to that point, it almost goes, at a certain point, shot by shot through the shower scene, showing you how long each cut is and how they get longer and shorter as they go along. And it's just an interesting way to dissect a film. And this scene is now in the zeitgeist, so this documentary does a very good job of explaining to maybe younger viewers why this scene was as shocking as it is and why it matters. I thought it was fantastic. I thought they did a really nice job with it. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil is the sequel to Maleficent, which came out a few years back. Stars Angelina Jolie and our old friend Elle Fanning, who seems to be in every movie in this series. Here is the problem. I saw the first Maleficent movie. I don't remember it. Was there a dragon in that movie? I was trying to remember if there was a dragon in that movie. I feel like there was a dragon in the movie. The movie does a very poor job of laying out why you should remember and care for these characters in the first place. If you are like me and don't have detailed memories of the first film, you're going to feel a little lost during this one. And that is because the film has a narrator, but the narrator does not do any work as far as reminding you who these people were. So the movie just kind of takes off and you're along for the ride, and there's a Chekhov's gun that shows up in the 3rd act of this film that was established in the first movie, which I didn't remember until it came up. Even then, there's good ways to remind you why this thing matters. The film just doesn't do it. And for a film called Maleficent, she's not in the movie all that much. This movie is more about Elle Fanning's character than it is Maleficent. Angelina Jolie is off in a corner for most of the movie doing other things, but the main plot is with Elle Fanning's character. But because the movie didn't do a good job of reminding me what happened or why I should care about what's happening now, it was a passive viewing experience. I just didn't care. I don't know why this movie exists. It did not justify its existence. And that is it for this episode. Did you see any of these movies? I will see you in comments, and I will see you on the next episode of 366 2020. Thanks for watching.